12 is going to be 25, and let me say it's 25 this June 8th of year 2018. June 12th, the popular election that ushered in a new breed for Nigerians, a new thinking for the generality of Nigerians, was annulled. A month after the election, seemed to have favored a very influential Nigerian, a man highly respected by the masses, a man who contributed his own quota to the development of Nigeria, a man who contributed his own quota to the development of Nigeria, Chief MKO Abiola. This year, it is 25 years after that very, very interesting episode that characterized the 57-year lifespan of Nigeria. Today, we are with one of the individuals who contributed to the development of democracy in Nigeria. His father was one of those who gave his life, his discipline, and his creativity to the struggle of June 12. A legend in his own time, a legal practitioner, a man who was popularly referred to as the lion of the legal practice in Nigeria. The late Chief Alao Aka Basorun, a luminary in his own regard, who passed away some couple of years. Today, in the city of Gbagada, Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, we are meeting the scion of the family, the scion of the Aka Basorun dynasty, in the person of Mr. Segun Aka Basorun, a political scientist, a man who was also one of the atom of the June 12 struggle, and a man who has stand in his own class. We can call him a chief of the old bloc. We are meeting him and we're going to extract some information from him about his perspective on June 12 at 25 and what does June 12 really stand for. Have we achieved the purpose of Hope 93, and have we been able to achieve all what Abiola stands for? The son of the legendary Alao Aka Basorun, Segun Aka Basorun, is going to talk to us as I meet him in his house this afternoon. Sir, we've been trying to get you in the last, let me say 6 months now. You've been so busy, and I'm sure your schedule has been very spiced with activities concerning the grassroots and all that. But let me ask you, as a young man, an entrepreneur, a father, an administrator, a political analyst, are you very happy with the state Nigeria is right now? If you look at the country and you find yourself in your bedroom, your quiet moment, how do you feel about Nigeria? Growing up in a family of political struggle, how do you feel about Nigeria, sir?
It has not been a good story. The struggle for change, for good change in Nigeria. 25 years coming to the anniversary of June 12, and it is so significant because it has to be aligned with today's struggle. That 25 years ago, there was a mighty signal for change, that we are going to move from one system of governance to a better system of governance that will usher in progressiveness. Abiola became the poster boy and the hope. And incidentally, or should I say ironically, the message for Abiola's campaign was Hope 93.
Yeah, hope indeed, a huge hope.
Yes, so 25 years later, we can still find the same yearning from the populace, from Nigerians. They are yearning for hope, for better change. And the present administration today of Buhari has rode on that, the road into power on the prospect of bringing that change that we hoped to have gotten 25 years ago through MKO Abiola. Because Abiola was an insider, was seen as an insider who meant well for the populace or the generalities of Nigerians because of his track record, of his magnanimous contributions to ordinary Nigerians from all tribes and all religious leanings. It's been 25 years today. That hope is yet to be achieved. the ushering of this present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari was to signify, was because it rekindled the anger, the helplessness, hopelessness that Nigeria were looking for would be a thing of the past. And we are still in that bleakness of uncertainty.
I want to ask you this question, sir, before you go on. Did you see the change of 93? Is there any difference between that change and the change of 2015? Because we were sold a change in 1993 and the name of that change was Hope. But this one that came in 2015 was called Change. So was there a difference between that or a kind of diversity?
Yeah, there's a difference. And it's only different in the way it manifested.
Okay.
For Hope 93, we were united.
Okay, sir.
That we need to self-govern. Nigerians believe that we should govern ourselves, not through a dictatorial process which the military offered then.
That's good.
Today, the difference is we were already in a democratic process. We have won that battle from military dictatorship, and we are trying to practice democracy, which is adjudged to be far better than any form of dictatorship. Yes, any kind of dictatorial government. Well, the difference is that when Buhari came, the coming of Buhari rather, or this administration, was not predicated on changing the guards of the leadership based on their military dictatorship, that they are coming from a dictator.
Antecedents.
Yes, but this time around, it was the lack of hopelessness, of a clear directive. There's a lack of a universality that can become what you would call a Nigerian citizenry. The Nigerian citizenry was not able to be defined, so people felt that Nigeria was at a crossroads where identity of who we are was lacking. And without identity, we cannot pinpoint where we ought to be going as a people, as a united people. And the coming of this present change, as opposed to then, was that we wanted a leadership that would be willing to make fundamental changes in the system.
Do you think Buhari is achieving that, sir?
They saw Buhari at that time as that individual who would be willing to make that national sacrifice based on his age, based on his antecedents, that he is a man that knows how to give orders and knows how to play the tactical game of power. 2, there was also the belief that if there is an individual that the rich, the powerful, the exploiters of Nigeria, of the resources of Nigeria, those individuals who had become principalities, that there is only an individual that has the capacity to entrench fear into them. Buhari was seen. And this is evident because in the time of Obasanjo, characteristics that people attaches to Obasanjo is his ruthlessness in making a decision and following through that decision against impunity by some. And people expected that Buhari was a far better leader in that aspect. So people were already clamoring that by the time Buhari becomes president, a lot of exploiters of our resources will have had to run away to escape prosecution. But unfortunately, we are back to the drawing board. And we are also at another crossroads.
So how do you mean by that?
Which way forward for Nigeria?
Which way forward for Nigeria?
If I'm to start with the yearnings of the populace, majority of the populace, the yearning of the populace at present is for that same transformational change, fundamental change from the way things were done in the past.
But everybody is saying that Mr. Buhari is chasing criminals. Just yesterday, Governor Yami of Taraba was sent to jail for 14 years. The Governor Yero of Kaduna is also in prison. As we talk now, a whole lot of looters are already facing their days in the court. So, but people also say, okay,
that will not suffice.
Okay, sir.
What will suffice is that we are at another crossroads.
Okay, sir.
And the people's yearning are quite clear. They want a fundamental and systemic change.
In what way?
Thank you very much. A fundamental and systemic change requires that we have so many dead weight individuals and principalities that have been holding on to the resources, that have been holding on to the power that requires Nigeria to break away from the stronghold. There are certain men that is called they are called the strong men of their political, the strong men of politics in Nigeria.
Interests.
Yes. See, these individuals are the people who are the problem in our nation. They are so powerful. They are so rich. They own all the means of production in this country. That in order for us to have a systemic change, we are at their mercy. No individual, especially coming from the masses, can muster enough resources to match them, how much more to overthrow them or take them out of power. So the paradigm shift that we are looking for today, that the yearnings, that the populace, the younger generation are asking for, is that fundamentally, if there will be changes, we need to get rid of all the deadbeats, all the old elements, all the people who have been in power, who remain in power, who are entrenching themselves in power, and bringing their unborn generation, their children, into the system to take over from them. So we're in a paradox that it seems impossible to get out of. However, the yearning, today's generation, they've been shouting, oh, we want young people. It's not that there's so much as saying that young people should take over.
But just
well, I'll get to the bill that was signed recently, not too young to
just
that is way beyond the issue. It's one aspect of it. It's a good call.
And they say, Mr. President,
however, the problem is not that we want a young person to rule. No, people are getting the issue wrong. The issue is that we need a young pool. Meaning, when I say a young pool, young in experience, young in the system, young in politics. People who are new to the system. We don't want people who are already there and are planning to be there forever. These are deadbeat individuals who are carving niches and carving systems, carving out followings and what you call fiefdoms to themselves, whether at local government level.
I understand now.
We have chieftains and godfathers.
I understand
at all stratas of political levels. We have at the level of the local government, we have godfathers. We have in the states. We have in the federal government. And these individuals are the ones that are holding on and making positive good change impossible. So that is why that every time we take one step forward, we end up with 2 steps back.
Almost 3 steps
because
back.
They have already planned and booby-trapped Nigerians. That it does not matter how much you shout or you plan for change, you have to go through. Those changes will have to go through us. If we do not assign to it, there will be no change. So hopefully there is hope.
But do you think
this present government,
do you think Buhari can give us that solution?
That is
talking about eradicating the vested interest in
that is what we should
politics.
That should be the calling. That should be our calling to the present government. That if you want if you want our support, if you want us to see a plus, a benefit for you to return, you have to be able to guarantee us a fundamental change in the way things are done politically. And I will give you specific examples.
Like,
for instance,
okay, sir.
for instance, the cost of governance.
That's good.
We must find a way to reduce it by at least 90%.
That's good.
All political office holders, there is excessive money that is spent. If we start from councillors who have PAs that buy cars for them, you pay for their wardrobe, to the chairmen that spend local government money for when they are going on visitation, they are going on assignment, how much more excessive payments in their security votes from local government, state government to the federal government. The money they pays to House of Assembly members, all the issues of pardon is going on in every state in Nigeria. It's not only at the National Assembly. Every state assembly in Nigeria categorically pads their bill by budgets. They pad the budget in order for it to be passed into law. If you do not pad the budget, if the state governor rejects them, the state governor will have problem with executing their budget. So this cost of governance is one example. There will be a paradigm shift. It will be a fundamental change in the way governance is done in Nigeria. These are the yearnings that the youths should be telling the Buharis of this world, the government of the present, that the government of tomorrow that we want should be a government that sees it as a pivotal point that they would reduce at least by 90% the cost of governance, because the excessiveness is crazy. And I will give you, let me just suppose
more example.
Let me just suppose just a practical way of seeing this.
Okay.
Our health
system.
Our health system.
Okay, sir.
On the average,
it's even worse.
Let us assume that
almost
Nigeria.
Now,
let us assume that Nigeria is spending $2 a year on a Nigerian in health. Do you know how much that would be in our budget?
That would be a lot of money, sir.
$2 per citizen.
Yes.
That is 2 times 180 million, giving you $360 million. Is that not so?
That's a lot of money, sir.
In a year, does Nigeria spend that amount of money?
No, sir. I don't think so.
For its citizen?
I don't think
you
so.
Don't. If Nigerian government don't spend $2 a year on each of the citizens for healthcare.
That's a very, very big minus.
It's so deplorable. Where do we get the resources from? We have to mop up from all these political office holders.
From the excessiveness of
when you have
and all that.
Senators with 10 PAs,
or more than 10
speakers and Senate presidents with 15, 20 PAs who are being paid official duties, wardrobe allowances, transport, all kind of extra costs. So you see all these kind of expenses. If we are to tabulate it and we can cut 90% of that, then we'll be able to provide possibly $4 of health care per year for each citizen.
$4, not even $2.
Not even just $2.
Yeah,
hopefully $4. And that is the paradigm shift that we want. We want government to find the need of its populace as paramount. And that is why, if we are not ready to sanitize our political system, we are moving in circles.
But the question is, how do we sanitize that political system? In a city man, Mr. Moyele showed on a program that the youth are inconsequential, that the numbers does not just add up, that at the end of the day, might will always be more powerful than views. So how do we ameliorate the issue of poverty, the issue of youth, what can I call it, youth empowerment, the issue of, getting those right leaders you are talking about, because either you want it or not now, a lot of people have perception that Buhari is coming back, second time. Nobody's talking about Fela Dutu, nobody's talking about someone issue already, despite the fact that those guys are doing their campaign. So, sir, in a situation where a minister is saying the youth are inconsequential, a minister of communication for that matter, and the president is now signing the bill of not young to run, then the same day the president was signing the bill of not young to run, the governor, Chief MKO Abiola, is now choosing the 74-year-old man as his deputy. A man who was a political leader in 1979, some 39 years ago. So how do we get out of it? And how do we settle the matter of the youth?
You see, I do not have issues because we have complicated the issue, the point. what has been said, logically speaking, you accept that some of them are on point. Yes, power is not given to anyone. The youth would not get power by saying it is my turn. They will have to mobilize and show their mightiness in the process. If they are not engaged in the process will not change in their favor.
If they are not engaged in the process will not change in their favor. That's a very powerful answer.
So the likes of Showare, Drutoy, and all the rest, Mogalu, it's the beginning of the breaking of the ceiling. It's the beginning of the encouragement that we need to bring new breed politician. And also, it is the beginning that we should choose people with good moral upbringing, evident moral upbringing, people without what you call blemishes, that will make decisions based on the track record, their behavior, not the amount of degrees people have. Because if you go worldwide, you find people with impeccable degrees, impeccable knowledge,
of course,
who are scrupulous, unscrupulous in their behavior.
Highly unscrupulous.
Yes. So you find, so that it does not suffice that they are qualified or well educated. It is how dark their heart is, or how bright or pure their heart is.
So how do you know the good man?
Yes, it is those moral guide, those moral codes that we have to see and we have to look for in individuals. Those moral indices that makes a person a good person, a conscientious, God-fearing, and people that love his fellow human being like himself. This is what is lacking. So, however, the coming of this new breed politician into the system,
of course,
has started the process of awareness.
But you are one of them too.
But it's a very long process to go.
Okay.
We have to understand,
how long?
We have to understand the dynamics of Nigeria. The dynamics of Nigeria is warped.
What?
It is based on ethnical and religious sentiments. People decide who leads them based on the level of understanding of their environment. So you will find that the average Nigerian do not think, or when I say that averagely, let me recap that. Averagely, you will not find Nigerians from different parts geographically thinking alike.
I understand now.
We don't see things the same way because
Variety
our
of opinion
orientation
is different.
is different.
From different background.
Until a nation or a leadership with vision decides that they want Nigerians or the citizens of Nigerians to have a common standard of seeing or understand what it means to be a citizen of a nation. Until we teach equitably our children who are upcoming and growing, until we teach them standards that are equitable within the nation, that a northern youth, a southern youth, in processing what is right, what is just, what is fair, would process it similarly. And that is true public education.
Public enlightenment?
Yes, no, not only enlightenment, public, deliberate public education.
Going out to make
yes, there has to be a standard by which we are going to raise and bring up our kids, regardless of who their parents are, whether rich, poor, northern or southern, until there's that universality.
But are you afraid? Are you aware?
We are at crossroads in going out there and mustering, following, or support for candidates nationwide who can bring meaningful change. So the system itself is working against the yearnings of those who want good change tomorrow. Because those that can deliver the good change are still in bondage. The average Nigerian are in bondage of how to think positively. They are in bondage of how to choose leadership. They are in bondage of in understanding what citizenship means.
The power of citizenship.
Their role, obligated participatory role
Yes.
as a member of society. They don't know what it is.
So they don't understand their
They
own
don't.
part of social
Yes. So this is the paradox that we are finding ourselves.
Sad paradox.
So a leadership that will bring meaningful change will have to go back to the drawing board. That how do I get understanding in the midst of unequal upbringing? Because you find bus drivers who are having kids, danfo drivers, bus drivers, ordinary artisans who do not have time to raise their children.
Even in the age of science student now.
We have the same thing with the Almajaris.
Yeah.
Now do you now bring all those people together to think alike and make decisions on a standard? A standard that has not been imbibed into them. So it's a major problem. However, we can start somewhere.
Somewhere.
We can start fundamentally in first finding a way to get rid of those people who do not want that to be. There's a systemic order to under-educate us.
I understand.
Even in the South was a leader.
The bed hub of education.
Yes.
Yep.
We were setting the standard to be beaten. Today, the South has copied
Declining.
the declining behavior in other geographical areas and realize that if you can under-educate your people, they will ask less questions, they will be less agitated to confront government and challenge government decisions and behaviors. That must change. We must see the need to educate our youth, to ask, to be innovative, to ask questions, to be investigative before arriving at a decision. Not where our youths today would listen to fake news and fake reports and make judgments. They don't even know what is fake news. They don't know what is possible, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. We don't have any common sense any longer.
So our common sense has been...
Yeah, because you find graduates who cannot tell you.
Yeah.
You find graduates who cannot tell you the components of water.
Can you imagine? That is a chemistry.
If you yes. And you don't have to be a graduate to know the components of water. We need the so-called illiterates in the urban areas, in the poor areas, to know those dynamics because they use and interact with water every day. There needs to be basic education.
But you are talking about even youth that cannot explain the component of water. What of those that cannot write their name on the proposal?
That's the problem.
Yep.
That is the problem. That is the challenge we are facing. That is what our leaders are not even seeing or looking at. They are bothered only with how to perpetually be in power. What is it going to take for them to remain in power forever? That is their preoccupation. As we celebrate June 12th, 25th anniversary of June 12th, we should reflect on the fact that many people have sacrificed, that people should be able to exercise their right to choose representatives of their liking. What we see today in Nigeria is that we are not given the choice to choose representatives of our liking, meaning that our political process, we have not gotten it right yet. We have to go back to the drawing board, that is the political parties that churns out these representatives. We must sanitize our political process. That means we must sanitize our political parties. Our political parties must be ideological based. If they are not ideological based, they will be hijacked by individuals who have the money and resources, and they become the godfathers.
Vested interest.
Yes, that dictates who represent us, either by fiat or by being the hook or crook, or by being coerced. So this, as we reflect on that, we need to start having a position we can tell our leaders that for us to partner with you for tomorrow, for us to support any kind of government, there has to be certain yearnings we must ask for. It's not about talking about true federalism, it's not about talking about restructuring, it's about asking for specific things. There's nothing wrong with asking for restructuring. There's nothing wrong with asking for all those things. However, we must start with the fundamental. how do we get rid of the deadbeats that are already in power? Those who don't want to leave power, how do we say to them, we want a new breed of people? You people that have been there forever, that have been in power and holding stranglehold of power, we need every one of you to step away. And they will never step away from power as far as that power is very attractive to them. So the only other option to that is to make power unattractive. Make the payment of office holders to the barest minimum. Let us slash all of this cost of governance by 90%, where nobody will be earning this outrageous amount of money that they can now afford to buy their wives on their birthday, a G-Wagon worth over 100 million. All of them have, no, I'll tell you.
No, I know. 13.5, 15 million per month, 13.5 million per month. And the average
justification
worker is collecting 18,000.
Let me tell you a fact.
Yes, sir. We agree.
Let me tell you a fact.
Yes,
right here in this Koshofe,
yes, sir.
My member of assembly that represents Koshofe today, he has been there 4 times.
4 times?
Yes.
Why?
He's a member of assembly. He owns a Bentley.
Jesus Christ.
He has a brand new Bentley. This is a member in Lagos. No. Listen, I am saying this publicly, and I hope that member of Koshofe that represents Koshofe would say to me that Mr. Aka Basorun, you are a liar. It's a fact. He owns, in the midst of the many jeeps he owns, this is just a member of assembly in Lagos. So you can imagine what we are talking about. Yes, I can say his name. His name is Bayo Shinowa.
Okay,
so if you have individuals like this,
okay, that's federal house.
Is in the state house of assembly, not federal.
My Lord Jesus.
Member in Lagos that has a Bentley.
But I've seen a lot of.
And some people are telling me he has another Corniche. So this, apart from the Vogue jeeps and all the things he has, and he's planning to go for the 5th term.
My Lord Jesus Christ.
So you will find out that the brought in the system is so much. We may not be able to change all of these things overnight, but let us harp on one thing at a time. Let us ask this present government of Buhari.
I'm sad.
Oh, it is very sad. It's
very sad.
So if you can ask the government of Buhari that please, the youth should tell that to get our support, we want those who have been in power since 1999 in this Fourth Republic. We want all of them, especially those, because there are people who are repeated representatives who are good. We like there's an advantage in having people with experience, knowledgeable experience. There are those who are good, but there are those who are deadbeats.
There's nothing new to offer.
They know nothing than political offices.
Vested interest.
That's what they have been doing. We need that system change, and it will not happen if we don't make governance very, very unattractive. Let go local government chairman not be earning more than 500,000 at the most. The same thing with state assemblies.
I say per annum or per month.
Per month is okay. It's that's barely what they earn. But know all the wardrobes, whether in assembly or national assembly members should not be earning more than 1 million in salary at the national assembly. I don't see why they should be earning more than that.
Yeah.
There is nothing they want to do that 1 million is not enough for them in a month.
To succeed.
To succeed. The same thing with assembly and chairman.
But
so if you make this unattractive, you find meaningful people.
But they said they want to travel allowance, their wife bras allowance, pint allowance, singlet allowance. I mean,
all form of that is for them. They have the same allowances for their PAs, mandated that is paid from the coffers of people's wealth. When you go and see how a local government chairman, when he has a meal, he eats, he spends over 30,000, mean an average a day to eat.
We saw some that even have jeeps in their house, even Homer jeep.
No, wait. They do, of course. They all have made those claims that there's hardly a local government chairman that doesn't own an hotel in this country. I know of Lagos very well. Yeah. There's hardly one that doesn't own an hotel. And I've challenged them publicly to come and say, Mr. Aka Basorun, you are a liar. I don't own an hotel. They do. I was the vice chairman, so I know them. But on the average, imagine the local government chairman spending averagely 30,000 naira
for
a day
food.
For food.
Jesus. Just to eat.
Just to eat.
when the average
Nigerian... Are we not in trouble?
We are more than trouble, sir.
This is at the local government level.
No, sir, we're on the
so you find that there is padding at the local government, because when they do their budget, you must they will pad it for the councillors to approve it. There's padding at the state, there's padding at the federal. So if you start plugging all these holes, this is what you can ask this present government. The kind of corruption we want you to fight. Leave all those other ones. We're not saying you shouldn't do it, but the ones we want.
The fundamental corruption.
Get these people out of office. Get them out of. Let them never have the opportunity to come back to office.
Yes.
And then make it so unattractive, so that those kind of charlatans, those greedy
lords,
will not come into politics. They will not come into public office. Only those that want to serve will be interested in coming into public office, because it's not attractive enough. Those who have a reason to want to give back to their community will come into public office. This is what should be up. We, the younger generation, the new generation of politicians, should be hampering on this present government. That if you want our support, this is what we want, the commitment we want from you.
Do you think President Buhari's anti-corruption crusade is biased?
No, I won't. You see, you see, okay, I will say this publicly. I'm a member of APC.
Okay, sir.
And I'm going to say what is not popular.
What is not popular, sir?
For an APC member to say, I am not happy with the way APC government has performed. Our performance, in all honesty, has been a failure. However, there's a pass mark. The handlers of the presidency have done a woeful job. They should admit, because they did not address the issues and they did not tell Nigerians the truth. Nigerians are willing to listen to them only if they're going to tell Nigerians what they met, what are the impediments that have held them back, why their abysmal failure. You see, it is so clear. I knew, Nigerians knew, that how would Buhari succeed with the crop of people around him who are shouting change? Are they not part of the rot? Were they not part of the system? We knew that. Buhari knew that. It was clear. But what we said is, let's first have a change of government. First. Yes. So now when we have a change of government, within the first 4 years, we will be able to filter amongst us those who want good change to occur. Because we knew that many of the people who are around us are only shouting for change. The change they are shouting is a personal change for their interest. We knew that. But we needed them on board at that time to succeed. Having succeeded, the process of shedding those deadbeats who wanted their payback after winning, they were asking for their payback, their dividends of their investment.
Yeah, dividend.
That is why they started fighting Buhari. And we knew that this man, how do you succeed in the midst of these charlatans, these greedy, these bloodsuckers? We knew it to be an impossible task for him to govern and bring about the change people asked for. So the handlers of the president should have come out and told Nigerians
the truth,
that we had a cleaning, we had a problem from within. We need to sanitize ourselves. We knew we came on board with a lot of bad people,
bad eggs.
In the last 3 years, we have been overwhelmed in shedding them off, and they are fighting back.
Corruption fighting back.
We are willing to change Nigeria. We have to change it from within our lot. We knew we came with a lot of bad people.
So that was the information that was missing.
That was what should have told us.
The information
that's information that's missing. The handlers of the president are not telling Nigerians that they failed because those people wanted them to fail. Now we are having revelation that for even him to pass a budget, the assembly is calling for this pardon. This same pardon that came up during settlement. You know, when he came into government, the first thing Buhari did was to bail out governors.
Yes, of course. Paris.
So we are having caucuses of strong men who are strong enough to usurp even the power of the presidency. whether it's the caucus of the governors or the caucuses of the assembly members. And that is what Buhari has been trying to fight. That is what's creating chaos in the party. It has manifested itself today. So we need the president to tell Nigerians honest, bitter truth that I have a problem within my lot, but I guarantee you that if that is the only thing I will achieve for you, that this lot of people will never rule Nigeria again. That their children and their blood will never have the opportunity to rule. That I will be living, when by the time I leave office, I can guarantee you none of them will ever have the opportunity to be in office again. That is the sacrifice we wanted the old man. We knew he was old. We knew he was frail. But we were encouraged that at that age he had nothing else to lose. And as a former general, he was capable to face that onslaught that would come. The onslaught is now on. They have converged to finish him. But he's fighting back finally. And he needs to come out and gain popular support by telling the populace the truth. I am advising him. I'm a member of APC.
Yes.
The truth has to be told.
Are you advising the president right now?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
If
President Buhari.
I am never afraid to tell the truth. I'm a member of APC.
No, being the
I
son
can
of
be expelled. There will be an Aka Basorun. There was before and there will be after APC. Aka Basorun.
Being the son of the dynasty of truth, I don't think you should be afraid of anything.
Oh, I'm not.
Yep.
It has to be told.
Yep.
So by the grace of God, and I can guarantee the president, if he comes and sit down with Nigerians and plead with Nigerians and make promises to address many of the shortcomings, he should call, and he's not telling us that, oh, there are many people who are sabotaging, who are trying to sponsoring hate and violence all over. However true that may be, it will be hard for the populace to believe. He has to be categorical. He has to call the IG of police and let the IG of police know that yes, I may like you personally and I chose you because I believed personally in you, but I will give you a yardstick. If there should be any other killing in these places that are questioning, you only have 48 hours to apprehend those people. If you don't, I don't need to call you, just send in your letter of resignation that you are incapable to govern. It needs to be decisive. It needs to be categorical in what he wants. So Nigerians will believe that it truly means well, that there are saboteurs within his government who doesn't want him to succeed at all costs. Because they realize they cannot control him. That is the political problem that we have. Once they cannot control him, they bring him down. They've realized that they cannot control him. So they do a
PhD for him?
Yes. We knew all of his shortcomings. We did not care. We overlooked it. People have come back to say all kind of story about Buhari. We knew that before the people voted for him. So he needs to ride on that again. He has to be brutally honest.
Brutally honest.
And tell people that his own people are the one pulling him down. But he's ready and capable enough for the fight.
You know you are the only one that's giving the very honest truth now. I've never heard it before.
Well, it's
what
unfortunate.
You are saying now is very...
People are afraid. I'm not afraid to be expelled from the party if it is for speaking the truth. It must be said. So the handlers of the president have not been fair to themselves and to the president and to Nigerians.
Are they afraid?
Well, they believe the best way to defend the president is to attack people who are trying
to be factual
about what they perceive, whose perception has been changed because of what they believe. They are not able to change people's perception. You will not change it by telling them that, oh, they are just being jealous, oh, they don't have facts, they are just being detractors, they are working for other people, or they are working for this person. That is not true. These are real negative perceptions that people have assumed on. It shouldn't have happened because the perception the presidency have enjoyed is unparalleled when it came to office.
Yeah. But do you think that is going down? It was
burnt.
Yeah. Burnt.
By the handlers, by not telling Nigerians
the honest truth
that we have enemies within, and we are trying to get rid of them. Africans, we are that group of people that the rest of the world have used as a ladder to get to where they are today. But this same group of people don't hate the rest of the world for it.
We're magnanimous.
Yes.
We are tolerating. We are
Amazing.
accommodating.
See, this is what we need in a global community today. That attitude. That is why the behaviors of the Trumps of this world, that America first, is so dangerous. It's taking us back, taking the world back to where we don't need to go. These are the kind of things we in Africa can champion. We are being used as a stepping stone, and we still don't mind being used as a stepping stone. But those countries that have used us as stepping stones, who have made it, are now shouting America first. They don't know how to share, and their success is to allow those to give others the opportunity to use as a stepping stone to reach where they can be. These are the things you can champion. So I came back home with the intention that I would stand for fairness, I would stand for what is right, if that is the least I can do to add to this great country. Nobody is coming to save you.
Look at it.
My fellow citizens, my brothers and sisters, whether you are northerners or southerners, nobody is going to come and save you. We have to save ourselves. Not as youths, as Nigerians and Africans. We are so disunited because we lack a common purpose. We have love, but we don't know how to share it. We have understanding, but we don't know how to listen to others and one another. With little patience, we would know that we share a commonality that we can organize ourselves for. I'm going to beg you that we have a commonality. The commonality is improvement in our lives, irrespective of where we come from, irrespective of our tongue, our religion. We deserve a better way and standard of living. It is deplorable anywhere in the world today to have people dying because they cannot have clean water to drink. It is deplorable. That is not the making of anybody outside of us. That is the making because we lack a need to listen to each other's needs and cooperate. The change we ask for is with us. It's left with us. It's all about cooperating and listening. There's a commonality. It is there. We need the leadership amongst ourselves to ignite it, to start it, to rekindle it. So I urge you, the way forward is to organize for a commonality. Don't let us see ourselves any different from one another. All we need is opportunity. You'll be surprised, those you see as decadents, that when given the opportunity, they may be the one to propel this nation to the height we never expected, or the height that neither of us will have been able to. So please, we should give each another an opportunity to be a great member of this nation. Thank you.